Dr. Stone Season 3 just dropped arguably the biggest plot twist since the show kicked off, and all of the characters ended up getting petrified into stone for thousands of years. The end of Season 3, Episode 3 shows our characters making a homemade GPS, so when they travel the world, they'll be able to find their way back home and mark the land as well. But the thing with when you start sending a signal out for yourself is sometimes things can come back to you, and through a code, all we hear back is WHY. Why? And based on how Senku responds, it's either a new potential enemy, new potential foe of some sort, but Senku seems to be under the assumption that it could very well be the person responsible or the thing responsible for sending everyone into the Stone Age to begin with. I mean, if they don't have technology and this is just more of a spiritual force, who knows what we're dealing with right now? But what a hell of a way to end just the third episode of a third season. And the sky is truly the limit for whatever this voice represents for the New World story arc. I mean, when you see the title of the episode, First Contact, I was like, oh, are they going to meet up with new people? I was like, I mean, yeah, they kind of speed through things recently, but are they really going to meet up with like a new civilization? By the end of the episode, once they start talking with the GPS, I was like, oh, the first contact is like the first time they contact each other with the signal or something. No, they went way crazier than I was possibly thinking, and honestly, who knows where we go from here. The full live reaction available on my Patreon if you're interested in seeing my full uncut thoughts. Definitely the ending caught me by surprise, and honestly, just to see Senku in this episode, there's moments where he actually feels upset, but he always bounces back. There was a genuine sense of anger in that one shot of him, and honestly, there's not many moments where Senku can feel frightening, but that's a moment that truly felt frightening, and honestly, God, man, whatever it is, honestly, I wouldn't want to be you, because Senku, if he puts his mind to it, can probably crush you, even if you are a spiritual god in the sky. This episode, like I said, it's fast like previous episodes, but it's not a bad thing. Had this been the pacing of like seasons 2 and 1, then yeah, I think the speed through of, oh, we have oil, here's the machine to harvest the oil. Oh, now we have a boat, now we have a GPS, right? That would be an issue if that was a majority of Dr. Stone, but we have to look at it at a bigger picture. We have made so many giant leaps in technology, more so than man has ever dreamed possible. If you look at from the time we first made a plane that could fly in the sky to the time that we put someone on the moon, that short amount of time is insane to think of the giant leaps we were able to accomplish. Senku has done that 100 times faster, just in terms of where they started out to where they're currently at, right? We're literally making cell phones and GPSs, boats and cars. It's insane, right? So the fact that, do we really need to see every little detail at this point? No. If it's something drastically different, if they were building a rocket ship right now, yeah, if they were speeding through the way they're speeding through the boats and the cars and the oil fields and stuff, then yeah, that would be an issue. But based on how many things they've broken down, look at the cell phone from the prior season, right? They really broke down the technicalities of how he made that. So we don't really need to see how he made a wheel or a pump that could harvest oil or something like that. They literally already showed us how he built a car to begin with. It's pretty much in the same ballpark, so we don't really need to see how he made the boat, but it's nice to see that Senku keeps his style intact because the windshield is literally sunglasses because you gotta look cool on the ocean waves, right? So I think, yes, this is a lot faster than what we're used to, but given where we're trying to go, the new world, I think the fact that they're not wasting an extra 3 to 6 episodes showing us how they're making things that honestly aren't as interesting as potentially going to the brand new world, I'm totally okay with this personally. Some people may say they want it to be a bit slower, and if that's your feelings, of course that's acceptable, but for me personally, I think they've took it slow enough in other episodes. Do we need to see weeks on end of the wheat growing? Do we need to see weeks on end or episodes on end of how they make a motor with oil? Like, they've already done so much of this already, it just kind of works. And based on how they end this episode, with a voice talking back, all things considered, I mean, yeah, there's a lot more interesting fish to fry than how Senku decides to build certain things. And that's what really makes an episode like this pop. It felt Dr. Stone through and through. I mean, I felt bad for the boar. The boar became my new favorite mascot. I mean, it was already kind of bad. Like, I understand they have to eat and all, but once you take a boar out of the pen and you use it to hunt truffles, at that point, it kind of feels like your personal pet. Like, you can't do Sueka like that dirty. Like, you gotta, at the very least, say, this one boar is off limits, and it wasn't until the boar smelt like oil that it was safe from getting butchered, because goddamn, I mean, Francois wasn't playing. Francois was like, I'm gonna cook you up a good meal. And I was like, okay, this ain't cool. This boar is cute as can be. But at the very least, we got a new pet in the making here. I thought it was really clever how they ended up finding the oil, because with these pictures, it's so great to see, because if we rewind, it was either last episode or the first episode, they mentioned how they used to starve in the winter and there wasn't a lot of food. Now, because of these aerial pictures, they now can pinpoint, oh, this looks like where boars are at, and they find like, oh, this is where chestnuts can be, and mushrooms and stuff. So now they're able to harvest for the winter and prepare so they're not going to starve. Hell, they're at the point where they can make a restaurant with all these great different dishes because they have the food to do so. And I like that about this show. It makes you feel like these characters are accomplishing things that they never thought possible because they're born into a world that was always cruel. Or in the case of characters who have been brought back thinking there's no way in hell we'll ever see a sense of a normal reality. But given that some of these characters have been awake for weeks, days, some months, some years, I mean, look at where they started to where they're currently at and just how much Senku has improved their lives. As long as Senku continues to survive, the jumps in technology and advancements in civilization will be insane. But the good thing is, even if something was to horribly happen to Senku before he reaches the moon or something, at the very least, he set these people up for success, right? And I mean, the New World already had a lot of possibilities. I mean, just branching off and going to uncharted lands. Is there going to be friends? Is there going to be people with, I made the joke and kind of comment, like, I mean, it would suck if they're on their ship and a cannon shot at them, right? You don't know what's out there, what type of technology is out there. And the fact that a signal got sent to you after you make your GPS that just says why, almost like challenging you, like, why are you trying to bring back what I petrified potentially? Or is it, why is there someone else out there? We don't know, but Senku has more or less thrown down the gauntlet. And honestly, if there's one character I would not bet against, it's Senku. I think even if it's literally a holy god, a demonic god up in the sky, Senku's gonna find a way to make a laser god of death that will just destroy spiritual entities. Like, that's just who he is, right? But it's going to be interesting, whether it's a scientist out there who did a beam that petrified everyone, who's like, why did you come back? Or it's something more intense. I don't know, but I am excited, and I would say this is hands down the biggest plot twist. The biggest plot twist up to this point would have to be the intro to the show where everyone gets turned to stone. But this has to be like the biggest one since then. From the funny moments, like the moments with our boy thinking the love potion was actually a love potion back from episode 1 and Senku just laughs his ass off being like, you actually believe that? But hey, if you say it smells identical, then at the very least we know this gasoline's gonna work. It's just nice to see what this show has been able to do. Like I say, it may not be the most talked about show of the season, but the people who follow Dr. Stone, almost religiously it feels like at this point, we know the greatness that is this show. And I'm so glad that not only do we got this amazing core, we're going to have the next core, which is a split core, of course. And obviously, it will only just be a matter of time before we get season 4 as well. But let me know what you thought, especially with that insane ending. What do you think of the possibilities of what it means for the future? Let me know down below. Drop a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, ring that bell, of course, so you can get notified when I upload on the channel. And like I mentioned, we do have that full live reaction available on my Patreon if you're interested. And while you're there, you can also get a video shout out. So today, we have Declan, Squidward, and Davlin. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.